Welcome dear students and friends in this 23rd lecture on Python programming, and on your screen you can see the today's highlights. We are going to study about the flush function and with statement, and we are also going to study about the standard input, output and error streams. Okay, so let's begin today's class. And there is a function called flush function which forces the writing of data on disk is still pending in the output buffer. Okay, what does it mean? It means that when you are writing this write statement, when you are opening this file in write mode and or append mode, and when you are performing this write operation, then what actually happens is that the content that you are trying to write, for example here you are trying to write hello there, hi, okay, so the content does not get written at that time, okay, when you write this write statement. Okay, when it is written onto the file, it is written when you use this close statement. Okay, if you do not write this close statement, this will not be written. Okay, why it is not written? Because when you write this write statement, it is not written onto the file where it is stored. It is temporarily stored in something called buffer. This line that you are going to write is temporarily stored in buffer. Okay, and when you do this close statement, when you write this close statement, then only from the buffer it is written to the file. Okay, so when you perform this, then the content in buffer is written in onto the file. Okay, so this is what actually happens. Okay, so let me demonstrate it to you what I am trying to say. So let's not use this close statement. Okay, and when let's try to perform this write operation. Okay, so this is your file myfile.txt on which I am trying to perform the write statement, but still I have not used the close statement. So will it be written to the file? No, it will not be written onto the file. Okay, why? Because you have not closed the file, and whatever is there, whatever you have written here. Okay, so let's use some other line. I am in CZ. Okay, so since you have not closed the file, it will be stored in the buffer. Okay, and it will not be written onto your file because you have not used the close statement. Okay, so let's run this and see what output it is giving. Okay, so it is successfully executed, no problem, but let's check the content of your file myfile.txt. It is still the same. Okay, nothing has got changed. Okay, it is still the same. Okay, but what happens when you use the close statement? Okay, what happens when you use the close statement? That the content from the buffer will be written onto the file. Just now I told you that this is kind of forcing, this is kind of writing content from the buffer to your file. Okay, so now let's run this and see what output it is giving. Okay, so it is successfully executed, and you can see that the line I am in CZ has now been written onto the file myfile.txt. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear to you, that what is the significance of closing the file. If you do not close, your content will still be there in the buffer only. Okay, so let's rerun it. Let's try to write some another line. I am in India. Okay, and now let's check whether it is written onto the file or not. It will not be written because you have not performed the close operation. Okay, so let's run it, and it is successfully executed, and now you can see your file. It is not written. I am in India is not written onto the file. Okay, why it is not written? Because you have not performed the close operation. Okay, now let's close the file and see whether it is written or not. Okay, so you can see the content now that, okay, so I think there is some, yes, it is written onto the file. Okay, I am in India is written onto the file. Why? Because you have performed the close operation. Okay, now what if you want to force the content on your buffer? Okay, so listen very carefully, that you do not want to perform this close operation. Okay, you do not want to perform this close operation, and you want to force the content on your buffer to be written onto the file. Okay, so what you will do? You will use this flush function. Okay, so flush function is actually, so that is what I had written here, that it is used to force the writing of data on disk which is still pending in your output buffer. Okay, so the data that is still in the buffer, that is, for example, this data is in your buffer. Okay, so let's change the line and let's make it India is in Asia, and this is currently in the buffer, okay, output buffer, and you want to write it onto your file, okay, you want to force write, okay, you want to write it forcibly. So what you will do, you will use this flush function. So this will actually force the data in your buffer onto the file, okay. So let's try to run this program and see whether this India is in Asia gets written onto the file or not, okay. So let's run this, and now you can see that India is in Asia has been written onto your file, okay. So I hope you got this concept. So when you are not using this flush function, then and when you are not closing the file also, then this was not written onto the file, okay. But as soon as you use this flush function, then the data in the buffer was forced to write on the file, okay. It was forcibly written on the file, whichever file you have mentioned, okay. If you do not use it, if you do not use this flush function, the data will not be written onto the file, okay. But I will suggest you that even though you have used this flush function, okay, you should use the close statement, okay. You should use the close statement, okay. Even if you have, okay, so listen very carefully, that even if you have used this flush function to force write your data onto the file, okay, no problem. If you do not use the close statement, still your data will be written, okay, onto the file, okay. But still you should close the file after performing the flush operation or after performing any operation that you have done, okay. So that's the significance of the flush function. It is also important. It may ask for 1 mark or 2 mark that what is the significance of flush function. So you should write that it is used to force the writing of data, okay, onto the disk or onto the file, okay, which is still pending in the output buffer, okay. So the data that you are trying to write will be pending in output buffer, but if you use the flush function, it will be written onto the disk, it will be written onto the file, okay. So let's see this with statement. What is the use of with statement? You know that if you do not close the file, there may be problem, okay. So always you should adopt this habit of closing the file, okay, otherwise you will land up in some kind of issue, some kind of problem, okay. So a better practice is that sometimes you might forget to use this close statement, okay. So what you should do is that you should open your file using with statement, okay. With statement, what is its significance? The significance is that the file will automatically get closed, okay. You need not close the file explicitly using the close function, okay. So let me write it here. Let me write in the highlight section that if you use with statement, for opening your file, okay, then you need not close your file, explicitly, okay, or exclusively, okay. So you need not close your file, okay. The file will automatically get closed, okay. So let me write this one also. The file will automatically get closed, okay. So I hope you got this concept that if you are using the with statement, then you need not close your file, okay, exclusively or explicitly, okay. It will automatically get closed, okay. So let me demonstrate it to you. So let's use this with statement. How do you use the with statement? Its syntax is that you first write this open statement, okay. So with open, and then you mention the file handle, okay. You mention the file handle. So with open as f, and then what you do is that once you have opened the file, then you can perform the, for example, here you have used the append operation, okay. So you can write something onto your file, f dot write, and you just write here I am Akash, suppose, okay. And let's use a \n here. A new line may not be present, okay, in the file previously, okay. So you see that I am not using any kind of close statement to close my file. After executing this line, the file will automatically get closed, and this line I am Akash will automatically get written onto the file myfile.txt, Okay, so let's run this program and see what output it is giving, and it is successfully executed. And if you check this file, then you can see that I am Akash has been written onto your file. Okay, and you see that you will ask, you have not used any kind of flush function, you have not used any kind of close statement. Okay, so this is perfectly fine. I hope you got this concept. Let me perform the read operation also, and see what output it is giving. Okay, so f dot read. Okay, and let's open the file, and okay, so there seems to be some problem. Okay, so I didn't print it. I didn't print this. It should be printed. The read function will return the line in the form of a string that needs to be printed. Okay, so let's print it, and you can see that all the content has been printed on the screen. All the content of your file has been printed onto the screen. Okay, so that's it about the with statement. Okay, so let's study the last topic of today's class, and this is standard input, output, and error streams. Okay, so you know that your keyboard and mouse are called, your keyboard is your input device. Okay, so your keyboard is nothing but input device, and your monitor, okay, your monitor or your display is your output device. Okay, it is your output device, and it is also called error device. Actually, why? Because it is used to give you the errors. Okay, whatever error is there, that is also displayed on the monitor only. Okay, so this keyboard is your input device, and your output monitor is your output device, as well as a standard error device. Okay, and let me tell you that Python also treats these two as files. Okay, so internally keyboard and monitor are also treated as file, and these files are given some special names, that is standard streams. Okay, so keyboard and monitor, they are your files which are also called standard streams. Okay, they are also called standard streams. Okay, so internally they are also treated as files. Okay, keyboard is input device, monitor is output and error device, and they are internally implemented as files, and these files are given some special name, that is standard streams. Okay, now how will you access these files? If they are files, you must be able to access them. Okay, so yes, you can access them, and how will you access them? Using the sys module. Okay, so these files are accessed using the sys module. The keyboard and monitor files are accessed using the sys module. Okay, we will come to it, what is sys module and how it is actually used to access monitor and keyboard. Okay, but before that, let me tell you that keyboard can be accessed using this sys dot. Keyboard is nothing but a standard stream, and what is that standard stream? It is sys dot stdin. Okay, so this is the object corresponding to keyboard. Okay, so this is the object. For example, you write f equal to open. Okay, so the file becomes object. Okay, so when you write this f equal to open and myfile.txt, okay, then what happens? That this f becomes your file handle or the object corresponding to my file. Okay, similarly, the object corresponding to keyboard is fixed, and what is this object? This is sys.stdin. Okay, similarly, what is the object corresponding to monitor? It is sys.stdout. Okay, so the object corresponding to the file handle, the file object corresponding to monitor is sys.stdout. Okay, now once you have written these objects, you know that you can use the read function or the write function. Okay, so whichever function you are using with files, you can also use with keyboards and monitor. Okay, how will you do that? We will see in a moment. Okay, so here I have written that sys.stdin.read would let you read from the keyboard. Okay, how you will read from the keyboard, that we will see. So, and when we are accepting inputs from the keyboard, then Ctrl plus D will be used to break it. Okay, so let me demonstrate it to you. I hope you got this concept, that how this keyboard file is accessed. This keyboard file or the keyboard standard stream is accessed using sys.stdin object, file object. Okay, and this monitor is accessed using this sys.stdout object. Okay, so let's open a file. Let's open sys.stdin. Okay, So I will write here message is equal to sys dot std in. Okay, but before this let me print a message that print enter something. Okay, enter something. Now what you will do, that you will accept input from the keyboard. Okay, you will accept input from this keyboard using which function, using which object. The object is sys.stdin, and you will use which function, read function, to read from the, because till here it is the object only. Okay, and if you want to read something from the keyboard, then that will be done using this read. Okay, so f dot read. Okay, f dot read, and you know that f dot read returns something in the form of a string. Okay, so this message will be nothing but a string. Okay, so this is similar to writing s equal to f dot read, that you already know. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear, that you are nothing but it is similar to writing s is equal to f dot read, or message equal to f dot read. Message is nothing but a string. Okay, so let me write s only, no problem. Okay, so let me write s equal to sys dot stdin dot read. Okay, and this is sys.stdin is nothing but your file object, which is referring to keyboard. Okay, and you are going to read something from the keyboard. Okay, you are going to read something from the keyboard. So you will use which function? You will use the read function. Okay, and when will the reading stop? How you can stop the reading? You should use shift plus control plus D. Okay, in some of the systems there may be control plus D only. Okay, there may be control plus D. Okay, so it depends, maybe control plus D or shift plus control plus D, and then it will accept, it will stop accepting input from the keyboard. Okay, now once you have accepted the input, listen very carefully. So as soon as you press this control plus D or shift plus control plus D, accepting input from the keyboard will stop. Okay, and then whatever you have entered, that will be stored inside this S, and if you want you can print it. Okay, using the print statement. Okay, so let me accept some input from the keyboard and try to print using the print statement. Okay, so let's run this program, and okay, so there is some problem. Okay, so I have not used the sys module, I have not imported the sys module. Sys module must be imported. Okay, what are modules, that we will see in some later class. Okay, so I have imported this sys module, and now you can prompting, you can see that it is prompting to enter something. So let me enter something, I am Amarnath. Okay, and then whatever you want to enter, you can enter in the new line. Okay, I am teaching Python. Okay, I am in Kharagod. Okay, I am in Kharagod. Okay, so you have entered these three lines, and now you want to stop. So how will you stop? You will enter shift plus control plus D. So as soon as you press shift plus control plus D, you can see that whatever you have entered, all these three lines have been printed on the screen. I am Amarnath, I am teaching Python, and I am in Kharagod. Okay, so this is how standard inputs are accepted. This is how your keyboard is used to accept input, and then you can print it using the print statement. Okay, and just now I told you that monitor can also be implemented as file. Okay, and how will you access that file? Okay, so how will you access your monitor file? You will access using sys.stdout. Okay, and whatever you have accepted from the user, okay, whatever you have accepted from the user, this S, this can be written onto the monitor. Okay, using which function? Using the write function. Okay, so sys.stdout.write, and then whatever message you need to write on the monitor, whatever message you need to write on the screen, that should be written here. Okay, so instead of, listen very carefully, instead of using the print S statement, what you could have done is that you could have used sys.stdout, and then you could have used this write function, and whatever message you need to write on the screen, that will be written here. Okay, so this is similar to writing f dot write s. Okay, I hope you got this concept. So this sys.stdout is nothing but your file handle, your file object corresponding to monitor. Okay, and on monitor you are going to write something using this write function. Okay, so whatever message you had accepted, that message will be passed to this write function and that will be printed. Okay, so let's run this program and you can see that whatever message you will write, I am studying, okay, then I am teaching. Okay, so let me write these two lines, and once you press shift plus control plus D, this will automatically get, okay, so okay, so you can see that using the sys.stdout.write statement also, whatever you had written, whatever you had entered through the keyboard, that is being displayed on the screen. So I am teaching and I am studying, these two lines are being displayed on your screen. Okay, so you have two alternatives, either you can use the print statement or you can use this sys.stdout.write. Okay, so let me write something more genuine. Okay, so first it should prompt that enter something, and then you are accepting input from the keyboard, okay, using f.read, where f is nothing but your keyboard object, keyboard file. Okay, and once you have accepted, then you can print using the, okay, you can print either using the sys.stdout or you can print using the print statement. Okay, so let me print this message, printing using sys.stdout. Okay, printing using sys.stdout, and then you can write what, sys.stdout.write. Okay, and what you are going to write, you are going to write this s, whatever message you had accepted from the keyboard. Okay, and then you can also print using the print statement. Okay, so just give this message that printing using print statement. Okay, printing using print statement, and let me give a new line also here. Let me give a new line here. Okay, and then printing using print statement. So whatever you had printed using this sys.stdout.write, that can also be printed using the print statement. Okay, so let me write here print s. Okay, and let me run this program. So what will this program do? That it will first accept input from the keyboard. Okay, and then first it will print using the sys.stdout, and then it will print the same statements using the print statement. Okay, so these are equivalent, print s and sys.stdout.write s, they are equivalent. Okay, so let me run this program and see what output it is giving. So I am teaching and I am in CZ. Okay, now let's break this, and you can see that it is giving you that printing using sys.stdout. Okay, so it is giving you the same output, I am teaching, I am in CZ, and when you are printing using the print statement, then also it is giving you the same output, I am teaching, I am in CG. Okay, so I hope you got this concept of. So let me summarize that internally keyboard and your monitor, they are also implemented as files, and these files can be accessed using these objects, file objects. Okay, so the file objects corresponding to keyboard and monitor are fixed. And what are these file objects? These are, for corresponding to monitor, the file object is sys.stdin. Okay, and the object corresponding to monitor is, the object corresponding to keyboard is sys.stdin, and the object corresponding to monitor is sys.stdout. Okay, and once you have imported, okay, so in order to access these objects, you need to import the sys module. Okay, and once you have used these objects, you can apply any function similar to files. Okay, read function, write function, read lines function. Okay, and everything will work out. Okay, similar to the files. Okay, after this I need not explain anything, because you already know that how to use read function, how to use read lines function. Okay, so all those things can be performed. Okay, Now there is one more object, there is one more file object, and that is called sys.stderr. Okay, standard error. I told you that monitor is output device also, and it is an error device also. Okay, so if you want to print some error message, okay, if you want to print some error message, then that can be also printed using the monitor. Okay, and how will, in that case, which statement you will use, which file object you will use? You will use sys.stderr. Okay, sys.stderr object will be used to use the monitor as a error for displaying error. Okay, so what you will do, that it is similar to sys.stdout. Okay, it is similar to stdout. It is also used to write. Okay, and where it is used to write, it is used to write onto the monitor. Okay, but whatever message you are writing, that will be printed in red. Okay, because you are going to print an error message. Okay, so if you use this sys.stderr, then it is similar to this sys.stdout. Okay, it will write onto the screen, but it will write in red because it is an error message. Okay, so let me demonstrate it to you. So if I was using sys.stderr, okay, and then if I was trying to write, then it will, okay, so let me delete all these things, std in, because you know already that what are these standard input and standard output. Okay, now I am trying to demonstrate you this stderr. Okay, so what it will do, that whatever message you are writing here, whatever message you are writing using this sys.stderr, that will be displayed in red. Okay, so I suppose I am writing this, there is an error. Okay, so suppose I am writing this line, there is an error. Okay, so if I write this line using this sys.stderr object, then it will be displayed in red. Why? Because it will treat this as an error message. Okay, so let's run this and see what output it is giving, and you can see that it is displaying it in red. Okay, because it was an error message. Okay, so it will assume that whatever message you are giving inside this sys.stderr.write, that is an error message. Okay, okay, so that's it. I hope you got this concept. And so this is similar to sys.stdout.write, except for the fact that it will treat this as an error message. Whatever you are writing inside this write, that will be treated as an error message, and it will be displayed in the red. Okay, so that's it for today. We have completed the file, text files specifically, and in the next class we will start the binary file or maybe CSV file. Okay, so let me see which one I start first. Okay, and if there is any, because so this was a bit different from the topics that we have already studied. Okay, the standard error and the standard output, but you need not worry about it. Actually, this is nothing but files only. Okay, so sys.stdin is nothing but your file object. Okay, sys.stdout is nothing but your file object. Sys.stderr is nothing but file object. Okay, you just need to be careful that which is used to perform the read operation, on which file you can perform the read operation, and on which file you can perform the write operation. That is the only thing you need to be careful. Okay, so these are the two files, sys.stderr and sys.stdout, on which you can perform the write operation. Whereas if you talk about sys.stdin, then you can perform the read operation on that particular file. Okay, you can read something from the keyboard, you cannot write something onto it. Okay, so that's it for today, and if you are facing any difficulty, then do let me know and we will discuss it. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you.